Yeah, taking a look now back to college football transfer portal.
That thing is moving so quick, Ben. I'm going to be honest with you. It's I hate to sound like an old man, but that's so beyond my I can't keep up with it. There's over 3,000 kids that were in the portal to begin with. Now I know everyone's starting to sign and everything's like that.
Yeah.
I did mention to you it's crazy, and I can't even it's just so hard for an old guy like myself to get my arms around. I saw where last week we said Ty Simpson had committed to or said that he was leaving and going into the draft, and then there was a report that came out that said he was offered 6.5 or 5.6 mil. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's a rounding error related to what we're talking about here to come back to whatever college. I never saw what college offered that, but the
Hmm.
fact that we're talking about offers from colleges related to dollars. I know everyone's getting sick of me hearing it, and I sound like a broken record. And I'm there. I'm fine. College football is fun to watch. I'm going to keep watching it. But when you hear that stuff, it is so weird.
It is crazy. And yeah, like you said, you can't cover every move because every day now that we're in the second week of this, you have hundreds of kids committing every day. So, I mean, a couple of the big ones we saw since last week's episode, Dylan Raiola went to Oregon, which super interesting because you don't even know if Dante Moore is staying or not. He said he still has to think about it in his
Right.
post-game presser.
Right.
Lane Kiffin gets his guy at LSU, Sam Levitt. Lane seemed pretty set on that one.
Yeah. I'll tell you, though, I read an interesting story that so Levitt was visiting LSU. They were at that LSU basketball game together.
Yep.
A report comes out that the quarterback for University of Washington, who had committed to University of Washington, then was leaving. Actually, he had signed a deal with Washington. He then came out and said he was going to leave and go look at LSU, which
Hmm.
then the story goes Levitt, who was ready to commit to LSU at that time at the basketball game or whatever,
Yep.
goes, you know what? Awesome. He gets on a plane and goes to his scheduled visit at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Kiffin jumps on a plane the next day and goes to Knoxville, where he had to be incognito, I would think, because I still think Knoxville would want to rip him apart
Yeah.
for years ago when he left. And I think when he left Knoxville, he went to USC, if I'm not mistaken, after 1 year. I think he just did 1 year and then split ski. So the kid from Washington goes back and commits to Washington. Lane's devotion to Levitt and going
Yep.
out there to get him from Knoxville sways him, and he goes to LSU. This is just wild. This is like soap opera stuff.
It's funny because you say Lane goes incognito. He posted a picture on Twitter of him at the Knoxville airport.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I mean, like, by the time that really gets around, he's
No,
got,
for sure.
you know, a matter of hours or whatever. I mean, that's dangerous, I would think, for his
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin's Twitter is hilarious. It's a lot of like backhanded stuff and it's
Oh,
funny.
man.
Um, so Trinidad Chambliss, like you mentioned earlier, he got his sixth year waiver request denied by the NCAA and it's now going to court. But Ole Miss gets Deuce Knight from Auburn. And
Yep.
he played true freshman this year, five-star, played one game and had, what do we say, almost 600 total yards in the one game
Yeah.
he played.
Yeah.
So it seems like if Trinidad comes back, is able to come back, great, but they get their guy just in case. And then it's a big move, but I still think it's very underrated. So Texas gets the number one wide receiver in the transfer portal, Cam Coleman, which I've been saying this all year. Did Arch live up to expectations this year? No, but watching the Texas football I did watch this year, the, their receivers were not very good. Arch would have multiple throws where he would put it right in his hands, in or their hands, and it would just be blatant drops. So
Yeah. Yeah.
happy to see Arch get a true number one.
And I will say the second half of the season was much better than the first half. He played well in the second half of the season.
Yeah. And Cam Coleman, the 2 years he was at Auburn, still produced. That's why he's the number one wide receiver in the portal. And his quarterback play while he was at Auburn was subpar. Auburn, I hope they figure it out with their new coach because it's one of those teams, like you say, where college football is just better when like both Auburn and Alabama are good. And the past, really since Bo Nix left, it has been tough in Auburn.